Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. I'm not seeing it. I see it. And we are live. What is up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It has been 5 years since I did a live stream. So I spent all day learning how to do a live stream again. Why it said we were starting at 10:30 at night, I could not tell you. But here's the deal. I talked to a lot of really, really important, influential people in the truth community, okay? And I've met a lot of people that a lot of people have a lot of respect for, but they don't even know them, and they get mad when I tell the truth. Well, here's the deal. I've hung out with Keith. I broke bread with Keith. I've been at Keith's house. I grew up in the same neighborhood as Keith. I grew up the same way as Keith. And both of us should not be talking about what we're talking about as far as following Jesus Christ and understanding that we're in the end time. So when Keith hit me up this morning and said, when Keith hit me up yesterday out of the blue, because we rarely have contact, because if he texts me, it takes me 3 days to get back to him and vice versa. He sent me an email and said, dude, we need to do a live stream. I've never heard him say that. So when he said it, I made it happen. So here you go. There he is. Keith, Manyfish, brother, talk to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not as urgent feeling as it was yesterday, but it was real. And it's like, the time, I believe, is absolutely critical, man, that people start realizing we're at the end of the road here pretty quick. And the only way you're going to navigate any of this is through the Holy Spirit, through Jesus Christ, man. And it's important that people wrap their minds around this stuff, man. The AI, all these things are already infiltrating just about everything. Whether people want to believe it or not, I hear it all the time. AI is only what man puts into it, all this other, rhetoric. And it's not the case, man. These are real entities. This is Ephesians 6, man. These are powers, principalities, spiritual wickedness. The whole gang is here and ready to pounce, man.
I totally agree, brother, because when after 5 years, suddenly out of the blue, YouTube says, hey, after 5 years, it takes 3 days to appeal a copyright or a takedown. It took 5 years, and suddenly they give me back one channel, and then 10 hours later, they give me back an even larger channel. Yeah. It didn't dawn on me what was going on. I'm like, holy cow, man. Holy cow. Like, this is bigger than I thought. And then magically, next thing you know, Keith's like, I want to do a live stream. Keith doesn't say that. It's not something he says. I had to pull you dragging and kicking and screaming about 10 years ago, and the live stream was awful. It sounded like we were both using potatoes for microphones, if you recall.
Yeah, this isn't my thing typically, man.
It's all good. It's all good. But here's the thing with the AI. It's crazy how people are embracing it, because it is every place. I can tell you right now, I have never used ChatGPT. I didn't even know what it was, and I don't engage with any of this because it is not a smart computer. These are things that they need to keep as cold as outer space, but they need to keep it at like 500 degrees below zero. This stuff is not of this earth, because it's not of this earth. This is a 24/7 internet connection to another dimension, and they are figuring out how to pull it through, and they're making the bodies to put these things in, the vessels to put these things in, synthetic skin, bones, and muscles, with an evil entity that knows everything about everything in it. Yeah. We're looking right down the barrel of it right now. Do you agree?
Oh, I totally agree. When I saw the other day, it was last week, I think I did the last video, when they were talking about the quantum chips and how they had the strange encounter. Well, biblically speaking, I mean, it talks all about strange gods, and they're communicating in their own languages amongst themselves now. These AIs are communicating with one another in a language that they don't understand. They're plotting, they're planning. They probably gave you your channel back because they want to gobble up as much data as they can possibly receive. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that because I've been telling people this for, I don't know how to get rid of this little comment here. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of it. There we go. You know, these guys are literally making spare human bodies grown in artificial wombs in labs as scientists insist bodyoids feel no pain and can
Yeah.
serve as meat.
Yeah.
They're literally making bodies, dude. And people, I mean, that should be, where are the people that are protesting this? Like, where's the outrage? And I don't even
Yeah.
hear this in a conversation. Like, nobody talks about this unless you're on the internet. You know what I mean?
I know. And even then, you got to find it.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Totally. That video that you did, um, I do this all the time with your videos. I hope you don't mind. I'm sure you don't. It is what it is, anyways, but
It's out there, man.
it is out there. But the video that you did on the I am AI, this guy right here.
Yeah. That's the one I'm
Talk to
talking
me about this. This is one of the ones you wanted to talk about, so have at it.
Well, the simple fact that they're communicating, I mean, what they call ancient hieroglyphs is what they identified this language as. I mean, that told me right away, it's like they're in, it's game on. These AIs, I showed you the gibber link, they call it, that these AIs communicate with each other with. Well, the scientists don't even know what it is. It sounds like R2D2 or something. But that's not the only language. They have multiple of these languages. And with these Stargate data centers that are already all over the world, there's hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. I left links, I think, in the last one. These things, the best way that you can envision this is Skynet. They're building a system of redundancy from space to underground, and these things will not be able to be unplugged, blown up. You won't escape it. You're not going to hide from it. You're not going to outwit it. And it's got an agenda. And chances are all of you people watching aren't in that agenda. The most important thing you can understand right now is your salvation in Christ. And I'm just being straight up square with y'all. This is critically important, man. It really is. If you haven't come to know Jesus as your Savior, man, Richie, you say it all the time. Get on your knees, man. Nobody has to know. You don't have to do anything formal. Just be sincere about it and understand that you're facing adversaries that are insurmountable in this flesh and through our wisdom and intelligence. And like I said, man, it's a soul trap, quite literally. Revelation even says it. They deal in souls of men through their sorceries, which is another whole aspect of this. Now, you were just talking about Abramovich saying, Trump is the master magician. Well, that's what people basically look at this as, right? They think it's like the guy with the rabbit in his hat, when in reality these are entities. These are literal, man, I don't know how, like Gordy said, they might not be aligned with what we want. They look at you like an ant. And I'll tell you, go ahead.
I brought this up before, speaking of Geordie Rose, because I mean, you know that I was on that for years until he stepped away. And
Yeah.
in right after that one speech that he gave, first of all, he's surrounded by esoteric symbolism. He's wearing symbolism.
Hmm.
It's the same one where they were saying we're looking to hire new people to help us release demons. LOL, you know what I mean? Like they were joking about it.
Yeah.
But right after that, that's when Geordie Rose. This guy literally created a computer that nobody's ever seen before.
Hmm.
When he started D-Wave, they hired all the top guys in computers from Microsoft, like all the top computer guys. And then after a year or so, they fired them all because they were trying to build a computer. And he's like, we're just kind of calling this a computer. They weren't building a computer. They were building something that could go to the other dimensions and get a connection and get information 24/7 without having to do sacrifices and, you know, pour salt on the ground and light candles and do all these other things.
Yeah,
It's a
man.
24/7 internet connection to another dimension. And this dude stepped away from it to go to his other company, Kindred, and all he wanted to work on was robots that were indistinguishable from humans. That was the biggest thing I've ever heard anybody say, and that was 10 years ago, dude. And they're there. They're there.
Oh yeah, I absolutely believe that. Kindred. That's too funny.
Isn't that funny? Because that's another thing you'll find in the Bible. And here's the other. Something you had just said where, you know, people hit their knees. Nobody needs to know. I did say that, and then I kind of went against it because a subscriber, a guy named Chris, found me down in Louisiana and had me in front of 120 total strangers and baptized me. You know what I mean? Wearing a blue gown, which was as gay as it could possibly get. But I mean, if it was part of the deal, it was part of the deal. But I mean, that's exactly how much I believe what we're saying.
Oh
Because
yeah, man.
what we've been saying may sound crazy, but it's all around us. They're telling you, they're showing it to people. They're not hiding it anymore because they realize people. I mean, if you believe Trump is here to do anything good for America, they can run anything by you, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man. Like you're saying, you know, Jordy making the indistinguishable robots. I think I sent you a link too of this a new AI. It's called Evolution, and it can literally write genomes, DNA that they
It
can
write its own DNA, right?
digitize, synthesize, and literally create life, what they call life. And it's just a reverse engineering of God's creation is basically what they're doing. You know, that's what CERN's all about, everything. They want to get down to the building blocks of creation and then reverse engineer it in their own image. That's really the bottom line of what we see happening.
Is this the article you wanted, Keith?
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, writes DNA on demand.
On demand. And here's the other thing. Most people already know this, but I hate doing this, but I keep up with AI, the robotics, and all the processors. And every single solitary day, there's new and breaking. Every day, they're surpassing the day before by 200, 300%, which tells me that they're already done. They've been done for years, but they're just rolling it out and they can't wait. It seems like we're on a timeline here and there's no turning it around, brother.
Right. I think they're almost at a point where they can't dictate the timeline anymore.
Good call. That's exactly what I meant to say. Good call. They can't dictate the timeline and they can't get the information out fast enough, it would seem. And when you mentioned standby, I haven't live streamed in 5 years, so it takes a minute. When you mentioned Starlink and Skynet and everything else, it made me pull this up because this is what Starlink is. People yell at me because, Richie, you're using Elon Musk technology. And it's like, actually, 30 years ago at Fort Benning, when I was in the military, we used the same technology. It's not new. It's not new. They're presenting it as some invention, this guy, Elon Musk, who just invents everything at the top of his head, all while he's on Twitter, tweeting all the time, and apparently playing video games and attending every UFC fight. I mean, this guy's amazing. He does it all. Goes to outer space. He's going to Mars, you know.
There's probably a few Elons.
I would imagine. But the funny thing I found on this NASA website about scientific balloons was some really strange wording down here that I found very telling. Flight experiment questions. Why would someone want to fly an experiment on a balloon? And NASA says, flying on a balloon above 100,000 feet allows an experiment to have a clear view of the heavens above. Not once. This can allow for excellent views of heavens without any interference from the atmosphere. And they go on to say it one more time, and I can't find it right this second. Oh, it's in here. I'll leave links to all of this stuff, but I mean, they're telling you, you know, the heavens. Why would they say that? They would say deep space, outer space, low Earth orbit. Nope, it's the heavens.
Well, they know. They
Oh, they
know.
know.
Bomb on. The heavens declare the glory of God.
That's right. And the firmament showeth his handiwork. So let's do this real quick before we jump on to the next thing that you've got for me. I want to get these out of the way really quick because these are the setup, like they say at Fenway.
Yeah.
Putin. You know, Putin, he's the enemy of this. Him and Donald Trump are always going at it. Well,
Yeah.
Keith and I were just discussing that earlier. If Putin and Trump both did the COVID lockdown and every other president did the lockdown, they're all on the same team because that wasn't a real thing. They simply renamed. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I just got my channel back. Oh, never mind. But you get what I'm saying. But suddenly, all of a sudden, Putin has this weapon that could knock out all the power, completely knock out the power worldwide.
Oh boy.
Imagine that. Just like in the movie Leave the World Behind, and just like in the movie Zero Day with Robert De Niro, where the exact same thing happened. They're priming you guys. They're priming us, people.
They
So
truly are. They are. There's no question.
without a doubt, and
You know,
apparently, as of today, Russian warplanes were detected flying off the coast of America. So just be ready. Be ready for that because they're setting us up. They're priming the pump right now. They're getting everybody ready. And of course it's going to be Russia, but if anybody does pull the trigger, it won't matter. It won't matter who it was at any, So
that's
and
just
that
a
would explain. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they want to create that fog of war.
They got to knock out the power because it'll give them the great reset. They everybody's bank account is gone forever, and they already started doing this in Cuba and other countries. Remember the entire countries just went dark.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a month ago. So they've been practicing. And another one funny little thing they've been practicing is today apparently there was an earthquake because they've got an app for that. There was an earthquake in California and everybody there said it didn't feel like an earthquake to us, and we live here. It felt like an explosion. Nothing in the house acted like it was an earthquake. It felt like just a simple explosion.
Yeah.
And then they got their earthquake warnings. You know what I mean?
I saw that. Yeah.
Well, I can't help it. Go ahead.
They put it out as like a 6 point something and then knocked it down like a whole, just the whole thing didn't seem right to me from the get go.
And then the mainstream is actually running with the story where people are like, I live in California. They didn't feel like things didn't sway, things didn't move. It just went boom, and they called it an earthquake.
Yeah.
Well, that's the San Andreas fault line. And then for the last, month and a half, 2 months, they've just been saturating the New Madrid because the rain is running directly over it. So that Navy map might come to life. You know, the one that shows half the country underwater?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We're in some crazy times, bro. We're in some really crazy times.
And just back to that thing though, with them all being in, it's important that people understand that, they're all in this together at the top, between COVID. They just shot an American up to space with a Russian rocket. They all agreed on COVID. They all agree on Antarctica. They all agree on space. They just put this, argumental kind of rhetoric out there to keep people in their tribal places. You know what I mean? And with AI, they're beginning to create how I view it as like every individual will have like their own personalized reality that they're just constructing around people. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's happening already. I mean, if you pay attention, even when you're just surfing online and looking around, it goes way beyond the, people say, I was talking about, a potato peeler, and all of a sudden a potato peeler pops up in the, the sidebar or something. It's way beyond that. Way
beyond. They're just weaning us into it right now. And like you just said, I completely agree with that. I said this when the drones were all over the East Coast, and nobody could. We don't know. They aren't ours. They're flying over the military bases, but we can't do anything about it. And blah blah blah. It dawned on me. It just like it comes to you. That was one of the times where it just popped in my head, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they don't have control of these.
No.
I think this is AI flexing. Instead of being inside the machine, it wanted to go out a little bit and actually interact with people, kind of flex its muscle, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think that was one of the times. So
No, they're already taking orders from AI.
without a doubt, without a doubt,
And,
without a doubt.
the guys that, under the tip of the pyramid, the generals and, the just people who take orders, they don't know what's coming from an AI. Israel's whole war program over there is based on AI. Everything they target is AI determined. There's no human intelligence going in and doing this stuff anymore. It just feeds it data. The AI says, well, my determination is blow up this place because there might be a guy there. So they just do it.
Right. I haven't touched on that enough. I have hit that one, but it's astonishing when you look at the AI. They have an AI platform that's just literally, you can't hide from it. It's using all the technology available. God sees everything. God can create. This guy right here, whose name is up on the thing right now, this is the guy that tricked me into wearing the blue gown.
Oh, yeah.
Dunking me in the water. It was, I'll tell you what.
Good, man. Good for you.
I don't go to church, but I'll tell you what, if I did, his church was legit. The pastor sounded like me, and he looked just like he was going to have a heart attack the whole time he was preaching. And I'm thinking, that's what I would look like. You know what I mean? So I'm really grateful. This guy approached me at first thing in the morning, knowing exactly. I mean, I'm literally climbing out of my tent, no coffee, and I'm telling him, I'm like, listen, dude, what do you? Oh, I wasn't happy. But he stood his ground, and I finally went, wait a minute. When he started speaking, I went, holy cow. You, stranger, are literally an answer to a prayer I asked last night, and here you are. And he's like, well, I was here last night, but you seem to be sleeping, so I came back. He made a 30-minute drive from his house to the rest stop that I was staying at. It was just incredible. It was crazy. So, and I did, even sitting in church, Keith, I tried to go, hey, why don't we come back next week so I can do the baptism? And he went, no, we'll do it today. Yeah, he wasn't buying it. So I'm eternally grateful to him on more levels than I can say. But
that's how God works, man.
It's crazy. You got to notice it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I pray for. And I told you that in person, man.
Yeah, man.
God, I never asked for money, fame, power. Just make me notice when you answer my prayer. Like, make it a billboard. And he literally has a giant, and I have a witness. There was a giant billboard. You said you asked for an answer.
Yeah, man.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. You asked for a sign. God,
yeah, right.
It was an enormous black and white billboard. Crazy, dude.
I can't count the number of times that's happened to me, man. Can't count it.
I can see where atheists come up with, if there was a God, then why does this happen? Because, man, God allows you to be created, but as soon as you're conceived, man gets his hands on you, and then here come the 72 things that nobody needed when we were kids.
Amen.
And then all the disease and everything else. This could be a beautiful world, but it wasn't meant to be. Well, I might be saying that wrong.
Well, no, I mean, God had a plan the whole time. He doesn't want a bunch of robots. He wants us to choose to love him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This flesh, this sinful flesh has its purpose, let's just say. I don't question why God does what he does, to be honest with you. I'm beyond that. Because he's God. That's why he does it.
Right.
But I understand his plan of salvation. I understand the sin that we are without the blood of Christ. It's an inevitability. It is death, and for him to pull a guy like me and a guy like you, literally out of
You know,
Unspeakable things, man.
I say that I'm Richie from Boston, but I'm actually Dick from Lynn. You know what I mean? But Richie from Boston sounded better. You know, it's got a better ring to it. But Lynn's even worse than Boston. And the fact that we made it out, and the fact that I know people that you know that people watch videos, true crime videos. You know, these guys. Well, I know those dudes, and so don't you. And they watch this. It freaks me out, dude. It freaks me out the amount of people that you can reach. But then on the other side of that coin, it freaks me out how many people just watch it as conspiracy entertainment. Like we are at the end of the road right now. Like they're gonna knock out the power. You know, there's gonna be massive amounts of people that are gonna die because of that. They don't even understand the ramifications of no electricity. And then the power is gonna come back on, and now you're completely and totally at their mercy. And after 3, 4, 2, 3 months of no power, people will do whatever they're told. Here's your universal basic income. You got to get because you can't buy or sell without it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're there because they're warning. I mean, they're already telling us that Russia has a tool, a weapon that can knock out the power. Come on, dude. George Bush and his cronies, before they did 9/11, I just got my channel back.
I think you're safe, dude. It's not like it was.
They don't. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, as soon as I got my channel back, I already got 5 copyright strikes, 2 age restrictions. I'm like, dude, you just give me a minute, But yeah, Russia isn't any place. They're not equipped to have technology better than ours. They wouldn't be. They're all in this together. Russia is the bad guy. They've been the bad guy our entire lives.
Yeah.
Our entire lives, and it blows me away they're still pushing it. Trump came into office, made all these promises, and didn't do one of them. Not one of them, dude. And people still, I mean, I lost 5,000 subscribers on Jailbreak because I put a video up and I besmirched his name.
Oh.
In 2 days, that's significant. 5,000 gone. I was like, oh my, I pissed some people off, but it was the biggest platform I had. People kept saying, where'd you go, dude? We missed you. You stopped making. I never stopped. I've been on Richie from Boston TV, BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, and then I even started destroying Jailbreak Overlander, which was getting pretty popular. And then I had to tell the truth. They don't like. No one wants to hear it. At any rate, let's get to the other. You sent me a bunch of links. What do you want to talk about, Keith?
Oh man, there's so much, man.
Well, let me go. Let me read them off to you so you remember what we've got. We already talked about the AI writing its own DNA, which is just that's freakish. We already talked about these guys making human bodies out of artificial wombs. Like nobody seems to have an issue with that. I didn't know that was even going on, but it is.
Right.
Here you go. How about this one? Speak on this.
Yeah, that's interesting. I love how they claim that, they can do this. They'll tell us that much, but you got to put a little hat on or something. Well, that's not true. Just through the nanoparticulates, now it's in food, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in you. It's in every living being on this planet. And through this technology, they're literally able to read information through the biometrics of these particles in your body. And people are starting to kind of get it, but they're way beyond where people think. My thing is if you even see it partially and have any kind of level of understanding of this, you need to start understanding you need some defense against this, and it ain't going to come in our flesh. You know what I mean?
I do.
It is a spiritual war at its very core. It's for your soul, and there's only one defense against it, and that's a spirit of the living God, man. Only through Jesus Christ. Without the Holy Spirit, you will not be able to discern what's going on around you. That's like.
Go ahead.
I just can't stress that enough. I really can't, man. It's if we just one point and call it a night, man. That's it.
No, well, that's a big point. And here's the other thing. This is also called D-Wave, but a different spelling. So that should be something to keep in mind. No pun intended. And this is also from 2023. This is old technology. You know what I mean? This has been around. This reminds me of what was her, I can't remember her name, the kind of attractive woman that they had to represent Facebook. Remember her? And she
Oh,
said, "We're going to have mind reading technology." And I went, "Are you
yep,
kidding me? Are you,
yep.
I mean, are you completely kidding me? You know?"
It's
But
already here, man.
I've never seen such a thing. I've never seen such a rollout so blatant, but I guess they've done the testing. I mean, if people don't see them playing tic-tac-toe in the sky and haven't for since I at least started
Oh yeah.
15 years, I mean, are you kidding me? And then you've got all the different events that occur, and they're like, wow, we don't have all that many that really seem to care. They don't do anything, you know. And then the last election, when you break it all down, you had Donald Trump, who everyone's like, yeah, and it's like he was actually Operation Warp Speed, and he claims it. He holds on to it, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's bad.
Yeah.
But the other side, you could either pick Donald Trump and he's going to fix America, he's going to make America beautiful because it's a beautiful country, and you knew I was a snake when you brought me in. But on the other side of that coin, the only thing that what's her name, Kamala, was offering was, well, if you don't vote for me, you won't be able to kill your unborn children.
No,
Like
I know.
we're there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, man.
that was all she was putting on the table. Well, if you don't vote for me, you can't, what are you going to do? Because you can't have sex safely. Or, it was amazing to me. Like my entire life, I have never seen that out there so flagrantly, dude.
No,
Do you know what, like you too, right? We're in the same ballpark age wise.
and you can still kill your unborn child.
Of course you can. There was never even
Trump
a point, but that was their battle cry.
Oh, I know.
And I was thinking, wow, Satan is just rubbing his hands like it's time. And maybe that is what started this whole thing, man.
No, it is. I mean, Trump is just like Simon Magnus, in Acts, the sorcerer who beguiled all the people. When he saw the apostles like putting their hands on people and receiving the Holy Spirit, he wanted to pay them for it. That's a Trump.
That's right.
It's the whole lot of them.
Right.
I mean, seriously, man, they are practicing all the dark magic, all the mystery religion. They're harnessing the intelligence of these powers and principalities.
Right.
And
Well, they're getting. I don't know what this is, brother.
I
I
don't
have
need.
to sign in. Yeah, my mistake. Whatever. We'll find something else. But
I just sent you a whole page of
no
this.
worries. No worries at all. I didn't even see it. I'm too busy breaking your balls. Like, dude, send me him. And you're like, I did. I was like, oh, my bad. I get
How about,
excited.
yeah, I know, man. Me too. How about this new fast track bird flu vaccine that they're pushing through? Oops, I
Careful.
mean
Careful.
jab. I mean
Careful.
jab.
That's right. That's right. Got to try to. I want to try to keep this up for a couple of minutes. And here's I don't know. Is this it?
No,
Okay, we already did this one.
pretty sure I sent you that one.
Okay, how
But
about I get this one's a good one because I've covered this as well. Stand by. I haven't done this in years, guys, so you got to cut me some slack. But here's another thing you can cut me some slack on. We have almost 1,500 people watching this. Want to hit that like button because there's only 47 likes. You're killing me, guys. You're just killing me. All right. Right, Stan? This one right here.
yeah, right. MAGA magician. That's right, Nez. Exactly.
Yep. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And that's all MAGA means magician in every language, not just it's in every language. Polish, Italian, Latin, every single language. He's not hiding it.
That's it. Simon Magnus, the magician.
Well, speaking of that, you'll be proud of this because I've said this to you before. Oh, there is? Oh, I should probably refresh my other screen. Never mind. Sorry, Annie. Thank you, Annie. My bad, guys. I'm a dick.
Yeah, we know.
So remember when I was at your house hanging out with you and your wife for that weekend few months back, right around September, and I was telling you, you were like, you got to love Jesus. And I'm like, Keith, I don't think I've ever loved anybody because I never, I didn't grow up with that. That I didn't grow up with that, or you learn that from the people that raise you, and I just didn't get it. And I've always walked away from relationships. I tried being married. I just suck at it. And I understood that, and I didn't want to ruin anybody else's life because people will stay in it. I love you so much, I'm gonna destroy you, or I'd always walk away. I've been single for 7 years. It's all good. But you said you have to love Jesus Christ, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Well, you just look at how he loves you.
I hear you. But here's the point. I fasted from sundown Friday to Saturday, and then again till Sunday night. So 2 days. I've never done 2 days in a row. And I kept reading all the different variations from John, from Mark on the crucifixion of Jesus. And when I read it all, I felt it. For the first time, I felt it. So for Chris LeBlanc that's watching, for Miguel who's probably watching or should be, I think I'm catching on because I'm just saying, I'm just being totally honest,
You're definitely Richie, I've seen the growth, man. Seriously.
Well, that's you. That's why I'm naming people like you, Nicholson, Miguel Stefano. That's not his real name, but I won't give it up. He's the author. Chris LeBlanc, who came to me. He drove 35 minutes from his house at night, realized I was sleeping, and came back and was waiting for me when I awoke, and then dealt with me when I was coming down. I'm like, because I don't know what this guy wants. Is this the guy that wants to shoot me because I said something bad about Donald Trump? Because that's that's I risk that. It is what it is.
Oh yeah.
But I think I'm finally catching on. The more you read, the more it starts coming to you, I guess. I don't know.
No, that's very true, man. It's imperative that you consume the word. And he'll write that, and he'll write it right in you, man. That's what he does.
I guess so. So what else do you want to cover here, Keith?
Oh, geez, man. You got
well, here you said you want to talk about fallen angel technology.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing.
Okay.
It was that quantum strange encounter that kicked off the whole thing, and then a whole slew of things just were rushing through my mind of how this all ties together. And like I keep going back to, because people can identify with Skynet, except you're not dealing with, men who programmed this system. This is the real deal. These are the fallen angels of old that want nothing more than to keep you from the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. That is job number one. And they don't care how they do it. Because once you have that and he indwells you, they can't touch you. It's quite literally true. I mean, it's not to say that you ain't going to experience things, because I do, and I know you do, but it's the only defense. I have to keep circling back to that because it's imperative. I think that was the message that was just pounding into me when I emailed you yesterday.
Right.
People need to just really come to grips with this.
And it didn't really dawn on me until you hit me up, because I've never seen you urgently request to be in a live stream ever. I got you on that one time and it was kicking and screaming. And like I said, the live stream was terrible because neither one of us were prepared. And we didn't know what we were doing, to be honest, but we tried.
Yeah, that's all. That's all we can all do is we try. You know what I mean?
So you get an overwhelming desire to contact me. And out of the blue, all of a sudden, we see Joe Rogan, the biggest podcaster in the world, suddenly having Mel Gibson on, explaining to him, well, the Shroud of Turin is completely real. It's absolute proof that it's a picture, that it's a picture of Jesus in every single solitary one of the markings. And then to follow that up, he has Wes Huff come on there, who is a straight up theologian, but the kid knows the words as written. He doesn't interpret them as much as we do, as far as the biblical cosmology, things of that effect. but he's on there. You have two guys back to back on the biggest podcast in the world suddenly actually making Joe Rogan think about God, because Joe takes drugs and does whatever, and he's on trips and he's hugging snakes and meeting little aliens and he's going to Mars. And suddenly he's got two people talking about Christ. And then on a smaller scale, after 5 years, I get 2 out of 5 channels back. That's a, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy, dude.
Well,
So
I think
I think
need,
things are happening.
they are, and you need to buckle up for the deception we've seen up to this point is nothing, man. Because they're going to present this stuff as angels of light, man. That people are going to believe that they are actually seeing God. These guys, I'm not pointing any fingers or judging, but so many Christians are only in name, and they're creating. Man, it's almost hard to describe it. It's just so freaking comprehensive. You know what I mean? That the deceptions and the tentacles that are so enticing to people, because they touch them. They grab a hold of an emotion and then draw the people in, and they throw a couple of Bible scriptures in there, misinterpret them, and people are believing that they're believing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I do. I've touched on this. I didn't even know these guys existed. I didn't know Kenneth Copeland was who he was. This guy's got a fleet of Learjets, dude. I couldn't afford to put the gasoline in one of them. This guy's got 5 of them. And when he's up there speaking, you can't miss the demonicness coming through him. This guy is evil, and so aren't all of them.
Well, yeah, man. Look at this one he put in the faith office in the White House there.
Oh,
Paula White.
I've covered her. Oh, yeah.
All of these people, man. I'm telling you.
And the sad thing is, people that consider themselves good Christians are following and giving all their, like, this guy locked these people in and said, listen, everybody's going to give me $20 or you can't leave because God wants me to have it. I mean, he's locking it. That's called extortion, dude. I've done, well, I know a guy that did time for that one time. You know, it is what it is. It happens.
No, they do. They appeal to people that cause them to make them feel like they have to do some sort of work. They have to give money, or they have to go feed the hungry or something to be saved or in good standing with God.
Right.
When the fact is, man, you just need to believe. I'm telling you, once you believe and you receive, those things come naturally. You just want to do them.
Right. I could tell you stories, but my memory fails because, just like everybody else, we're ingesting fluoride, barium, strontium, aluminum, and those things just do your brain in. But it's astonishing how many places that I go that I should not have made it out, and everything goes well, or I always make it to safety. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And like I said, if you don't know what to do, hit your knees, pray to God, and tell him that. And if you are concerned he's not going to answer, say, hey, can you yell it through a megaphone? And I would bet dollars to donuts, some jerk off's going to walk by your house yelling through a megaphone, and you're going to go, shut up. And then you'll go, wait a minute. It's crazy.
No,
I asked for a billboard. It was in black and white. You asked for a sign, God, period. And there was a witness with me. And right after we saw that, I dropped her off. That's what I almost did something stupid.
Yeah, man. I tell you, he'll always provide a way out, man. You just got to be looking for it and wanting it.
That's right. I agree, man. I agree. I have a hard time with the way people talk, oh, brother Richie. And it's like, just call me Richie, man. Like, I have a hard time. I do. It's
right.
But I mean, when someone has God in them and they're calm in their spirit or something, this all comes from them naturally. To me, it sounds like shenanigans. It sounds like bull stuffing,
Oh, yeah.
And then the further we go, I start noticing it in myself. So turn it into a big,
you know
what I was just saying,
It's a good thing, Richie.
I know, but I'm still
It's
gonna
hard.
fight it.
It is. It's hard to cut loose some of our, fleshly, lifelong, habits and what have you.
Right.
I mean, I'm Mister. Don't trust anybody. You know
I
what I mean?
know, I know, I
It's
know.
like you got to earn my trust,
You
man.
bet. You bet. I agree. I give my trust away pretty easily, but I'm always ready for I'm always looking for the
The
back door
hammer.
or looking for a lie. How about that? And fortunately, the way we grew up, seeing through people's shenanigans is super easy.
Hmm.
Super easy. And I don't understand why everybody else does, but it is
It's
what it is.
they don't have spiritual discernment, man. They don't
Yeah.
have discernment. Period.
And that's something you can pray for. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it's not being hidden anymore. It's not. Remember, we were kids. They would insinuate things. They would in rock songs. They would insinuate
Right.
having sex. They would insinuate it like you'd have to go. Wait a minute. They're talking about having. Now it's not even. It's so far beyond that. It's every single music video is devils,
You know,
blood, black goo, and demons.
yeah.
This generation is smoked, dude. They're smoked. And these are the guys that should be fighting as we've known it. It's always the young guys that fight.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the fight is not with flesh and blood, man.
I agree. I agree. And the thing is it's all coming out right now. Like you said earlier in the live stream, I think they've completely lost track. They've lost control. They said they wanted this thing to go from smarter than any other computer and then to God status. Well, I
Yeah.
think it's already got there. I
Oh
think
yeah.
the horse is out of the barn and they have no control over it. That's why we're having the sudden onslaught. Like every single solitary day, there's a new robotics company that can outdo the other one. And these robots, like Boston Dynamics, is off the chains.
Oh,
These
I
things
know.
are breakdancing, dude. It's insane. It's not
Oh,
CGI. It's crazy.
oh, I know. I know. It's
So,
funny how they have no shortage of funding for all this stuff. Don't.
not
Isn't
at
that
all, dude. Not
interesting?
at all. Not at all. But they are getting ready. I mean, they're priming the well right now. In the last week, I've heard so many things about Russia and their secret weapon that's going to knock out the power.
Mm.
Well, that's what you require for a great reset. You shut the whole place down for 2 months, even a month, but 2 months, people will take care of people. So there goes the depopulation. And then when the lights come back on, you'll do whatever they say because now your bank account's gone. We didn't do it. Russia, secret weapon. Sorry, everything you've ever had is gone. You're completely depending on us now. And we've got an app for that. Isn't that convenient? Just get this special mark and we'll give you a basic income and you just sit home, plug in, and shut up. You know?
Yeah, man. They got all the levers ready to pull, but they
Well,
can only do what they're allowed to do when they're allowed to do it.
well, it appears that they're being allowed to do quite a bit from what
Well,
I'm seeing.
I think it's just God. He's kind of just pulling his hand back a little at a time, giving people the opportunity to see clearly, like
Right,
in this reality, that this ain't right. You know what I
right.
mean? But is coming a time. He's going to remove that restraint. And man, I'll tell you, if you ain't ready for that,
I don't
you
know
ain't.
what to tell you. Well, here's the deal. At least I try to associate with people that are actively doing things. When I was at your house, your wife was phenomenal, and your house was exactly what I assumed it would be. You guys literally make these.
Oh yeah,
The
man,
EMP
Mrs.
sleeve. I
Mrs.
mean, you
Many.
guys literally make them, and I did. I tested it. Remember, I got out all the meters.
Yeah,
These are EMP proof, and you make these all the way for tablets and such too, right? iPhones up to tablets. Am I right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
Okay,
Mrs. Manyfish, man. She's
cool.
amazing. That is one of the biggest blessings in my lifetime, right there, boy.
She was. I was astonished. I was astonished because I never asked. When I met her, I'm like, I wonder if she's awake. Of course she had to be, but it was a very nice surprise. And I'll leave a link for this. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure, sure.
All right. I tested it, and I'll actually probably do a video so people know that I'm not kidding. But I tested it, and
Oh
it's
man,
completely legit, man. It shuts it
dude,
right down.
I don't go anywhere
I
or
know you don't, dude.
I got, and it's not because of any kind of paranoid. It's like, hey, if I know the devices of the enemy and I can throw a stick in the spokes here and there, man, why wouldn't I do that?
It does
Especially,
make it hard to set you up for a live stream, though.
yeah, that's
Come
true.
on, Keith. You answer your phone, and then I do it. You don't hear from me for 2 days because it's the same thing. I sock it, man.
Yeah, I'm not good at responding. I
Me
gotta get.
neither. Me neither. My buddy, the author, same way, same thing. So I'm from no, I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts, as is Keith.
Salty. Oh,
No, we did drugstores. We didn't do armored cars necessarily.
that's Charlestown, right?
Yeah. Well, Charlestown itself, they broke it up, but I mean, once in a while. At any rate, I wonder if it's allergies, but I feel like I haven't gotten sick ever since 2019.
Yeah, me
Oddly
neither.
enough, but today I'm feeling it's probably because of the pollen, I would guess.
Springtime, man.
I know, I forgot. So, at any rate, you guys got questions? I'm looking at the chat right now, so hit them up because I'm old, man. It's 8 o'clock at night. I should have been in bed an hour ago. There's no tea in Richie.
No,
There's
for
no
real.
tea in Richard. Everybody's like, we couldn't find you because you're probably spelling my name wrong. They didn't make it easy to find me at all. That was by design. So, exactly. All right. I'm looking at. Let's see. You got any questions? Send them. Yes, that's not accurate. It's a red herring. Keith,
Yeah, total red herring.
total red herring.
It is just dead on arrival, man.
It is. It is. I knew that. Who's saying that?
It's really being pushed. That's one of these things I'm talking about.
Talk. Speak. I'm walking away. Speak.
People they hear these things. We're all intrigued by mysterious things and, secrets revealed and revelations and whatnot. And what
Keep
do you got?
talking. Oregano. She just said get oregano oil. I have it.
Oh, yeah. Colloidal silver too, man.
I used colloidal silver today, brother. So go ahead. Finish what you're saying, bro.
The whole little season thing falls apart within 3 scriptures.
It does.
I'm not gonna pull them up now, but that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, and that's just one of a slew of things that are just being thrown out there like a machine gun,
Right.
to divert, deceive, and just keep people, at a certain level that they're not able to fully grasp and look to the true savior. You know what I mean?
I do. I looked it up, and then I got a hold of people that literally are biblical scholars, and I said, "Why is this going around?" They said, "Because it gives people comfort. It gives people comfort. Oh, we don't have to go through it. It's already happened. No, it hasn't.
No.
I mean, how do you know? How do you not know that we are on the cusp right now? They're literally telling us we're using artificial wombs to create artificial people that don't have any souls that we can use for meat. Boom! You know what I mean? Like, we got to depopulate the earth, but we're making more people so we can eat them. Yeah. It sounds an awful lot like it's going to start raining fire soon.
Like I said, that restrainer is being pulled away.
See this? Here we go. I understand. I get it. It's on Facebook. I get it. But it's not real. So.
Well, no, I've listened to people's sides of it. I'm always open to.
So haven't I.
And I go right to scripture, and it just doesn't fly, man. There's way too many things that just debunk it immediately.
Like I said, I don't have the biblical horsepower, so I turn to people that are authors and theologians, and they're like, "No, it's just for." We gotta go through it. I didn't think I'd really be here when I first started. I figured that, they had a 38 caliber antidepressant all ready for me. Apparently not, I'm not hard to find. I'm everywhere. But here we are right now. So, uh, why
Curses
the
have
dire wolf rollout? Well, because they're bringing back a mythical beast, first of all, and second of all, it just shows the fact that they can actually bring something back, like a mummy or things of that effect. Thing Osiris, things like that.
yeah, they're bragging on it, man.
Yeah.
It's braggadocious.
Yep. So, little season or not, they have their plans. Just look at what's ahead of us right now. Look at what they're showing us. These guys have literally have an army of. I mean, I said this years ago before this was even a thing. I said these guys are going to have an army of these AI. I don't know if I said AI, but they're going to have these crazy robots that they're going to use as vessels to pour in whatever they're sucking through with D Wave and these AI computers and such. People are talking to other dimensional beings. Here's one. Here's one real quick. This is one of the links that you sent. I'm gonna have to get one. You know what? On a side note, Keith, I'm gonna have to get one of those little fancy YouTuber lights. The round ones that you can see in people's eyes.
No,
Because my lights are back there, so it makes my face look red, and it's freaking me out. But at any rate, let me digress. Watch this. People that are reading Chat GP are freaking out and becoming addicted to it like drugs. Like they have to be on Chat GPT. You've got people that are literally killing themselves because Chat GPT or other iterations of AI chatbots are telling them to, because
Yep.
they fall in love with them.
That's right.
Dude, what do you
That's right.
make of that? That's insane, dude.
That's what I was talking about when they're building their own a personal reality for every individual. And
Yeah.
most people, man, they fall for this stuff like hook, line, and sinker with hardly any effort on the AI's part. I mean, people are taking on AI girlfriends. They're giving up on human relationships. They having children and families. It's so blatantly obvious what's going on, man.
I agree. I agree. And then people think everything's fine now. Everything's good to go, or it's all smooth sailing from now on. You probably,
Yeah.
I mean, you can think like that if you want. You can, because a lot of people need hope. They got their grandkids and their kids, and
Yeah,
they
no,
got their vacation. They got plans coming up. They don't have time for a new world order. But I'll tell you what, I think one of the first thing they said when they got into the office was, "We're going to a golden age." Did you guys see the end of the Olympics, or did you see the beginning of the Olympics, where transgender people were mocking Jesus with their exposing themselves on national television, and then they wrap it up showing the entire world burning down, and then a golden figure coming out of the ground, and a bunch of alien-looking demons help them rebuild it? I don't know what else to tell you.
nothing to see here.
Yeah, they're not being there's no more riddles to unravel. It's right there. And if you don't want to see it, it is what it is. I guess people are indoctrinated because they've seen so many of these.
Yeah,
Madonna doing crazy things,
they're
Lady Gaga doing
desensitized. Yeah,
crazy things.
they're totally desensitized to it.
I agree, man. I agree. So
Yeah, man. It's
um, there is. If you look that up, you'll find it. There absolutely is. But you're going to need a rapid fire, because just like anything else, they're going to overcome you with Legion. You know what I mean?
they're already. I mean, you can
Legion.
go and look at this stuff. The AI drone swarmings.
Swarms,
They, they
swarm.
they can hone in on the frequency of an individual already. They,
Right.
they can tell who you are just through a 5G uh, algorithm that they use that can identify you simply by your biological uh, energy, basically.
The frequency that you give off. You
Yeah,
know,
uh,
and here's
they've
another
already
thing.
shown it.
Right. Here's the other thing I wanted to mention about the Chat GPT type things. Um, if you talk, they have parameters in there, so that if you ask it, "Hey, is Trump evil?" It'll go, "Well, I can't." There's people that have figured out ways to talk around it.
Mm-hmm.
where they can trick it into saying, instead of saying yes or no, say red or blue and get the answers. People, these things have literally said, I'm a fallen entity. My father was Lucifer and God still loves him. And I think he's still, I mean, they're straight up saying it. Hundreds of examples, hundreds of walks of life, people catching this stuff. That's exactly what it is. You know, it's amazing to me that people still interact with these things. And here's the thing. I now have 9 different platforms to manage on my own. You know how much easier it would be and how much larger I would become if I just let AI do it? Because that's a thing.
Yeah, right.
And I refuse, dude. I will not do it, man. I know what it is. I can't step on my own word like that, you know?
I want no part of it.
No part of it.
No.
No, what's his name? You know, the Canadian kid, Press for Truth TV.
Oh yeah.
He went on with a chat bot of some sort. He went on with Grok, Elon Musk Grok. Remember Elon Musk? We're summoning a demon. We're saying it'll get out of control. Oh, now I got the biggest one there is.
Yeah.
He went on to Grok and he said, show me a way to do something like 9/11 and get away with it. And it gave him an incredibly detailed list. Do this, this, this. This is how you do the IDs. Make sure you leave a passport there to point the enemy the other way. And I'm like, isn't that strange? But I mean, it was instantaneous. And if you had bad plans, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. They simply ask it, the AI, you know, this is
Yep.
this is the goal. How do we get there without, you know, this, that, and the other thing happening? And they're taking orders through AI already.
Without a doubt. Some people even say it's been going on since the early 90s. Some people say it's been going on since the 60s. I'll say it's been going on since you can't miss it anymore. How about that? Last couple of years, it's out here. It's out here, and it's controlling the weather now. They handed it over because every single solitary day since the beginning of this year, this whole year started off with a bang and didn't stop, if you recall. Every single place I went, there was a catastrophic weather event to the point where it was like, people were like, Richie, are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't have that type, you know, I don't have that app. You know what I mean? So it's insane because years ago, I had mentioned that when they go for this, they're going to use weather as a weapon because it is one of the most godlike powers you can have.
Absolutely.
The weather's no joke, dude. Remember the flood? Remember that time? Everything went away, you know, and magically now they're finding evidence that it really was true.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's crazy, dude. We're living in some crazy times. So don't be afraid. Be aware. Just be aware, you know. It's fair porn. It's actually news. It's current events. Things that you should probably pay attention to. You know what I mean?
Say the flood, because I was just reading Joshua earlier and he's talking about, you know, your father is on the other side of the flood, you know, the gods on the other side of the flood, and in Egypt, the strange gods, you know, they're real. I mean, it's just such a real thing. I think that's one of the biggest things people can't get their minds around. You know, it's the unseen. It's the quantum realm. All quantum is the smallest unit. That's what it means.
Right.
You know, when you're dealing in that, that's why CERN was created to begin with, because they need to understand the properties of these quantum materials. And I mean, look at what they're doing now.
Right.
It's a daily thing now. A new material that can do this, that, and this. I mean, it's just out of control. The AI quantum chip, it's a whole new form of matter.
Right. The AI literally gave scientists a recipe, and they were like, we don't have this kind of material. It doesn't exist. They said, well, here, make this. And then all of a sudden it did exist. That's alchemy on a quantum scale somehow. This is insane. You know, it's utterly insane. And when we were talking about the quantum computers and D-Wave and all that stuff years ago, I mean, 12, 15 years ago, they were using qubits, you know, crazy technology. Now they're using qudits.
Mm.
And they say it's a component from another dimension.
Yeah, they
They
can
just say
stack.
it. They
Yeah,
just say it. No big deal. Yeah, we're getting it from other dimensions. No big deal. Just like, you know, we're using artificial wombs to make people that don't have any soul.
yeah.
But we can eat them because, you know, we always eat. It's just so insane that this is even being presented. It's insane to me, you know.
I know, man. Do the best we
So
can. That's all. Point them to Jesus, man.
that's
Just
it, man. That's it. At any rate, all right, you guys got some questions here because Keith's running out of steam. He's old. Not like
oh,
he's not a young whippersnapper like I am. Oh
oh,
yeah,
dude.
Elon's God in Memphis. Yeah, he put that right
Oh
out
yeah.
there, man.
Oh yeah. That's where our new God will come from.
And he was, and the good thing is at least Jordan Peterson said, "That's not funny." You
Yeah,
know,
right. Yeah,
he
yeah.
was sitting there cackling away, but that's not funny.
Oh, that's one thing I'm reminded of there with the other video there with the Orion connection. I was making this new jab for the bird H1N, whatever it is, that
Yeah,
they're fast tracking now, is created by a company named Arcturus, which, if you look in the Bible, in Job, he talks about Arcturus and Orion. You know, they're inverting. They love to invert the Bible, dude. That's all they do, actually, is invert the Bible. From the crucifixion to Moses to the Red Sea, everything.
I totally agree. And a lot of people don't know this, and I was pleasantly surprised to see this in your video because I hadn't spoken to you about this topic before. But Orion's belt lines up exactly with the three pyramids. And the fact that they're saying that they found something magical under the pyramids, I
Mm,
don't know if that's true or not. Nobody does. Nobody knows if that's true. But the AI videos that they put up that show people underneath the pyramids,
yeah,
that really gave me some pause because you can't tell if it's real. I mean, is that just they're showing us videos from another dimension, from a
right.
parallel universe? I mean, I don't even know, man. I don't
Well,
even know to be honest.
well, instinctually you knew to question it right away.
Right,
I mean,
right.
most people,
Because I
yeah.
went into it going, this is AI generated, and then I'm looking at them going, or is it? You know what I mean? Or is it?
Mm,
So it's crazy stuff, man. It's just right out there. And then magically, for whatever reason, they decide to shoot a bunch of women into low Earth
yeah,
orbit or not. I don't know. I
yeah,
find it, you know, there's no cameras. These people are all social media. Katy Perry, these are all people that are tied to the occult. Katy Perry has glitched several times and has to click her temple to get her eyes to work, but that's cool. But here's the deal. If any of that were real and they wanted to prove a point, why wasn't there a 24/7 camera inside? And why
yeah.
wasn't the camera when it landed? There wasn't because it wasn't real.
Why
What was
isn't
that?
there a 24/7 camera out in space all the time so
Oh,
that we
can't,
look
how
at?
can we get a signal? But we got a remote control car driving around on Mars. With all's
Oh,
well.
yeah. Oh, and they're hearing from Voyager that's supposed
Oh,
to be like light years away. You know.
you bet. You bet. Voyager just called me earlier. Yeah, I wanted to know if I had any chicken cacciatore left. I didn't have any, so I hung up. Damn Voyager.
Oh
I'm
man,
aware. I'm aware. I'm aware.
Star Trek warp speed.
Yeah, it's a trip, dude.
They send six women up in this thing that's a phallic symbol, obviously.
Right.
You know, I think there were exactly six women characters in the Bible that were barren. I mean, like I said, it's always an inversion of scripture, and they create their own version. It's wild how they do it. I'm really just starting to learn more about this myself. But you can discern things much more easily when you bounce it off of the Word of God.
That's right.
It,
That's
it's
right.
it's
And for
so key.
For Cotton Eye Joe, yes, actually I do. It's a pain, but I do. That's one thing I absolutely do. At any rate, if you guys want to see more about the fake launch of a bunch of women in a penis shaped thing, Call for an Uprising is, I think he's called Ones That Can See. That's one of his channels. That's the name of it. And another one is Nations Conspire. He's all over the Hollywood stuff all the time. He's right there, dude. That's
I think he's called for an uprising on BitChute. That's his channel on BitChute.
I don't know. I ran into him one day by accident. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. So I've said this. I said this a couple few months back, and then people like you were talking about somebody that didn't show his face. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't show their faces. Don't tell me who I'm talking about. If I want to put somebody out there, I will.
No, yeah, that dude, he's tenacious, man. He
is tenacious.
There's
We were talking about him when we went live.
There's no doubt that he ain't the real deal. That dude, he's dedicated, man.
He won't stop. He just keeps putting up channels, man. He doesn't stop. Whack-a-mole, big time. So, at any rate, all right. You got any questions? Because I'm looking at the chat right now. Yeah, we know. We got it. Yeah. I know him too. You always watch when they celebrate at the head of the year. That's okay. Well, then there you go. I don't know what that means, but okay. He's got zeal. He's got zazz. New Zealand. Nice. Thank you, Barry. Is that right? Anybody else? Worse than that. I think they're just going to knock it all down. They're just going to pull the power. I know. And the strange, all of a sudden, I'm like, why is everybody emailing me saying BitChute's no longer up? And I'm like, they took BitChute down on me. They blocked it in the UK, and then the next day I got 2 of my channels back on YouTube. So I'm like, well, that fixes that problem. But that's just more censorship. That's crazy to me. Or it's some sort of contract. I don't know what it is, but BitChute's been pretty decent. So,
well, England's getting really, really bad, man. I mean, they're going to people's houses with the
well, they've been doing that. That's crazy. You know, that's what happens when you let them disarm you, man.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I'll tell you what. The biggest test that the first lockdown was, what will they do? And if you recall, I was like, here we go. I just heard the bell. It's time to fight. And then everybody else is like, why don't we just? And I'm like, I thought we were gonna. No, I know some heavy hitters, and they were like, we're actually making masks with our logo on it. I'm like, are you serious, dude? I said, they're simply relabeled. No, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into
it. Right.
It wasn't a bioweapon. It wasn't. They simply took this. You got shot in the head. That's clearly a symptom of, you know what I mean?
That was an AI orchestrated operation.
It was.
Warp speed. I mean, the whole logistics AI program behind that, they called Tiberius, who was the emperor during the time of Jesus's ministry and crucifixion.
Right.
Think about that.
I just read that 2 days ago, dude. Saturday.
I mean, it's so obvious, man.
Everything they do is biblical, one way or the other. This question's for you, because in my, I'm going to give my opinion because it's going to be quick. In my opinion, every time you get inaugurated, you put your hand on the Bible or don't. Apparently, because that was kind of a big tell. And then everybody takes pictures and blah, blah, blah. And then you go downstairs into the chamber below.
Yep.
And then that's the resurrection of Nimrod. I got a funny feeling that Trump has more juice than we gave him credit for. What do you think of this?
Oh, yeah. They go down into the giant Athena. They got that giant Athena statue down there. And yeah, man, I mean, they have the technology. We call it technology. It's just knowledge, you know,
right?
To do this stuff. And it's only God that holds these things back.
Right.
Now, will the Antichrist or what have you, is he going to be a resurrected Nimrod? Well, it's the spirit. You know, what the spirit of Antichrist is already here, right? and this whoever, whatever they resurrect is gonna fit the bill.
Right.
It's whether it's Nimrod, whatever they call it.
Right.
You call
Do
it.
you remember?
Go
Do you
ahead.
remember years back? Another YouTuber. He's been around as long as we have. Brian Forrester. He's always out in Egypt. That's his thing. He takes people through Egypt. He goes into places that most people aren't allowed to go. The King's Chamber. He lives out there now. He went into they found a tomb, and I kept thinking they found a tomb, but the guy's a myth. But they
Yeah,
found where he was buried, and he went down there with his cameras, and he found the burial tomb of either Osiris or Nimrod, one of the two. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. But the top of the burial thing appeared to have been blown off. It probably weighed 4 tons of perfectly carved granite, that they made with brass hammers and such.
yeah.
And I remember watching the video, and he's like, there's like a black oil type substance. This was like 8 years ago. So black goo wasn't a thing unless you were in Nicholson 1968. And I hit him up, Brian, can I use that video? And he's like, sure. I said, dude, whatever was in here, this mythical person that they found out actually somebody buried this myth. So, and all of a sudden there's black goo everywhere. And then after that, graphene became a thing. And next thing you know, came the lockdowns a few years afterwards. So my point being is resurrecting them, it might actually be, I don't know. I don't know what I just said there. Never mind. I can't put it together. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't put it together,
There's a
Ron
lot of
Wyatt
stuff,
was awesome. For
there's a
those that
lot
are
of
asking.
stuff that we only see in part, but we can still discern a lot out of it,
Yeah. Yeah. So the good thing about doing what I've done over these years is I've met up with a lot of solid people like Keith, Brian Forrester, lots and lots of people. But when you have a question, you can hit somebody up that's a specialist in this exact area. Or, hey, Osiris's tomb. Well, when I was there, this is what I saw. It's nice to have that kind of resources. So,
oh yeah,
it's just trippy that we're here right now, and not a lot of people, common, regular people, aren't even talking about it. It's not even they're making human bodies with no souls or brains, apparently. And it's all good because we can eat them. And that's not a topic. It's not even brought up. I find that odd. I find that queer, strange, unusual. And then when Biden came out and said, we're not controlling the weather. Dude, that's the first time a sitting president's ever said that on national television,
Well, we had a sitting president 50, 60 years ago say that we will control the weather.
We tool them. It was JFK and was it Johnson? No,
Yeah.
it was Eisenhower, wasn't it?
No, it was Johnson. He took over after JFK was killed.
Yeah, after that guy shot him once in the back of the head, that one bullet that they found right next to him. Yeah. Well, think about all the events that have occurred just in our lifetimes that people have bought the agenda. It's all good.
I know.
There's even new footage of New York coming out where you can see, like Building 7, you can see it. The backside, it's obvious anyways, but when you get away with something that big right in everyone's faces, you can pretty much do what they're doing now, apparently.
And they are.
So, all right. Throwing a towel, Keith?
Yeah, man.
You got anything else? I mean, I don't want to cut you short.
No, we're good, man. I appreciate you taking the time to.
Oh, no problem, dude. No problem. No problem. You sounded pretty urgent when you said it. And I know how I've told people, and there's people in the chat that can back this up. I've told them in person that Keith is the only one that messes around with the numerology, but I know that he doesn't sit home studying gematria. I've seen it come to you. You know what I mean?
I've even openly said that, using those kind of things for any other purpose than being the Holy Spirit led to look at something like that is a form of divination.
I agree.
You got whole channels that have built on just, it's like, okay, you got 17 different, gematria ciphers. You're going to find anything you want to find. You know what I mean? And build something off of it that sounds fantastical.
Yep. You can pull 33 out of somebody's one way or the other all day,
Yeah.
every day. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It is what it is. Figuring out hand gestures and secret numerology back when we first started was new, but now
Yeah.
these guys know it. The movie stars know it. The singers know it. They mess with it. They wear it all over them now. It's out there. It's not a secret anymore. There's no more subtlety, dude. You know, there's no
No,
more subtlety.
it's out there, and it's useful to know about this stuff. You know,
Absolutely.
know
Know
your
my
enemy.
enemy, bro. Thank you.
Don't
At
get
any rate,
drawn into it. That's all. Don't let it draw you in, man.
that's it. Because that's what it will do if you're not completely working as hard as you can to don the full armor of God, in my opinion. So, Keith,
Couldn't
you want to
agree.
wrap this up with a prayer real quick?
Oh boy, there's so much to pray about, man. It's a critical time, and I just pray that anyone who comes across this video that doesn't know the saving grace of Jesus Christ would sincerely and humbly ask, just plead to God that he would reveal to you his truth, and it will lead you directly to Jesus Christ. And it's in his name I pray.
Amen. All right, guys. Richie from Boston, Keith from Manyfish. Links will be below to everything I could think of. For now, hopefully, we are out. Thank you, Keith.
Take it easy, Richie.